My guests on the Culture Crawl are from the upcoming musical production Tapestry, the music of Carole King, which will feature the members of Mirage, who you've heard many times on KCCK, with vocals by Amy Stoner. And Amy and Luke Vertel and Rich Wager from Mirage are here with me today. So, guys, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Dennis.
Thanks. How did this idea for this project come about?
Well, let's see, 2013. I
was gonna say, yeah. Don't say 1967.
Yeah,
Carole
yeah,
King. Yeah.
No, I actually went to a bass convention and like the Tapestry album. I knew a little bit of Carole King's music, and the Tapestry album I never had like sat down and just listened to end to end. And I was driving to Rochester, New York, and I listened to it. And I don't know if it was then or sometime after that, Amy and I were talking about some kind of project to do, and I was like, man, you know what would be really cool is to do Tapestry.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Amy, have you been a Carole King fan for a while, or?
Yeah, my parents listened to Carole King a lot when I was growing up. And then, Rich and I kind of started talking about it a little bit and kind of throwing ideas around. And then this past summer, I was in New York and I saw Beautiful, the Carole King musical on Broadway. And that kind of cemented my belief that I wanted to do a show of hers, definitely. So I haven't ever gotten to see her live, but have listened to her for a long time.
And your New York trip reminds me that for those who follow Cedar Rapids and Iowa City Arts on social media, you were there actually to partake in a record-setting cabaret performance.
I was, yeah. That was over New Year's this past year, and it was a variety show that went for 60 hours, I believe, and broke the Guinness Book World Record. It was really, really amazing. It was cool. Lots of famous performers and lots of random people like myself. So, but it was a great opportunity, and I think I was definitely the only person from Iowa there, and probably one of the people that traveled the farthest. So it was very cool.
Did your feet hurt after that?
It did hurt, yeah.
Luke, you're kind of serving as the musical director of this program. It seems on the outset maybe pretty easy. Well, we're just going to play the Tapestry album. We're going to do it in this order. But there is a lot more to it than that, because you want to be true to the original sound, but you also kind of want to do your own thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an interesting go at it so far. I mean, we have quite a challenge with our band Mirage, because we're coming, it came just fresh off this Jean-Luc Ponty tribute project where we incorporated the violin. We've got Natalie Brown. She's fantastic, and that is our core band. So moving forward, there is the challenge of taking, this pop music from the 70s that has, it's really intricate if you look at it on a minute level, but on a macro level, considering it's mainstream and things like that, how do we bring our flavor, our sort of want and need to spice things up a little bit, but also staying true to Carole King. So I think, yeah, Amy's been a huge help to that, and just having a rock solid voice is the number one, the most important thing about this. So the musical direction has gone great so far, and then we've had a chance to stretch our legs a little bit with the first set of the show. We're doing some Carole King tunes that weren't necessarily released by her, and so we're kind of doing our own arrangements that way.
The Goffin King stuff out of the Brill Building,
yeah.
early stuff,
and sort of taking some of that doo-wop stuff and kind of making it our own, and just by adding the violin, it always adds a new element right off the top. So yeah, it's been a great fun so far. We're really enjoying it.
So you're breaking it up then, and your two sets will be, the one set will be other Carole King songs that you may or may not know were written by her, and then the second set will be just back to front in LP order.
That's right. Yep. And the first set will, it'll be, like you said, songs that maybe people didn't know Carole King wrote, but it'll definitely be songs that they'll recognize. So I think that'll be a nice way to sort of, set people up for the genius that she was, and sort of kind of give a little glimpse that she kind of was a late bloomer in her solo career. So I think it's kind of it's going to be cool.
Talking with Rich and Luke and Amy from the Carole King tribute Tapestry, which is coming up the weekend after Valentine's Day.
That's correct.
Yep.
Yeah. So that
February 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
And that'll be in the Opus Concert Cafe. We'll say in a couple of minutes how to get tickets and everything. Luke, kind of talking again about the way the production is coming together. You, as I said, you want to stay true to the original source material, but you also want to bring your own flair to it. give me the song that you think is most similar to the way it was on the original album, and then the one that you maybe are playing with the most.
From the Tapestry album
Yes.
itself?
Yeah.
That's a really good
That is a
question.
good question.
I mean, I think the early part of the record, It's Too Late, I Feel the Earth Move, we're kind of really, those are such iconic songs, and they have such great structure and instrumentation already. We're sort of really taking those at face value, and maybe whether it's Ryan playing guitar, we extend the solo a little bit, but that's pretty much all we're really doing to manipulate those tunes, because we all just love them so much, and they're
It's
so
hard
good the way
it's
they
hard to
are.
improve on them, isn't it?
It really is. And I think from that album, we're doing probably You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman to end, to end the show. We're probably going to blend a little bit of the Aretha version with the Carole King version.
Nice.
Partly because we have, again, strings, and Rich is going to have a lot of versatility with the upright bass. And I think that's a little bit more indicative of across the board. What we were finding when we're doing these first set tunes is it's really fun to take the way that you've heard the Carole King recording, and then either the James Taylor recording or the Chiffons or somebody, and how can we say do a verse like this, and how can we blend those styles together?
That's right. Do the first verse like the Chiffons and the second verse like Rare Earth.
Yeah. Not so much where it's gonna switch it up, but we're having a good time trying to blend those two together, because that's really an interesting part of her music, I think.
Amy, song that you were surprised to discover was written by Carole King.
I would say probably Pleasant Valley Sunday.
Yeah, that'd be mine.
That was one that I wouldn't have particularly chosen as a Carole King song. But, with the doo-wop stuff, she definitely does kind of have a sound, or sort of a formula that she and Jerry Goffin seem to follow or emulate a little bit each time they would write. But then as her career goes on, you can really tell how she would really stretch herself out musically. And a lot of the, like, that one, and then there's
Born to Follow from Easy Rider.
Like, that doesn't sound like a Carole King song, But so I would say that, and I think definitely seeing the musical was really neat, because it was like I had no idea she wrote some of those songs, and then just kind of sitting around with Luke and Rich and either sending links back and forth to each other over email, or just sitting together in the studio, kind of spitballing and thinking of ideas. It's been kind of fun to pick out some different songs. But it's been really cool. One of the neat things too for me working with Mirage is obviously they're an amazing band that I've never gotten to work with before, and with Natalie on strings, it's a really cool element. But also it's been fun to work with Luke because he's a huge James Taylor fan. And so,
Who isn't?
yeah,
You're going to sing a little James in the style
absolutely.
of James Taylor, aren't you?
And so
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got a friend, we're going to kind of, again, that's when we're going to kind of mesh Carole King's version with James Taylor's version, and kind of do a little bit of both. So that's been kind of fun too.
Well, of course, as a stage performer and as a cabaret singer, you are mainly just, either singing with an orchestra in the pit,
Right.
or piano,
Right, by myself.
maybe piano, bass, and maybe drums.
Right.
But, so what's it like to front a rock band?
It's pretty fun. Rich messaged me one day, how do you like being in a band? And it made me laugh. I mean, the coolest part is just sitting at rehearsal and when we're trying to figure out a different way to do a doo-wop song, or, a Carole King song that you've heard the same way a million times, and they're trying to figure out a new way to do it. It's very interesting to watch. Like, Rich will do a different, like some funkier bass line, and then Ryan will start adding guitars on top of it, and Luke will play some different things, and John on drums, and then Natalie, what she adds in on violin is just amazing. So that was really cool. And then to hear them try it multiple ways, and they all sound fantastic. It's like, well, how do you pick one? So that's been really neat, just because when I do a show by myself, it's just me and my accompanist trying to figure it out. But it's been really nice, sometimes confusing, to have more opinions involved, just because, again, they're all really interesting ways that you could take the song. But I've definitely learned a lot. It's been a really cool experience.
The show is Tapestry, the music of Carole King. It's coming up at the Opus Concert Cafe, featuring Amy Friedel-Stoner and the band Mirage. get tickets now because you've already sold out a couple of performances, correct?
Yeah, and we're just adding a fourth performance for Sunday night, the 22nd. So that should be
You heard it here first.
Yeah. This is the first time we're announcing it.
So if people want tickets, they should order them online at
Orchestra Iowa's site.
Yeah, it's artsiowa.org.
Yep.
artsiowa.com.
Yep, artsiowa.com.
artsiowa.com, or just head down to the Paramount box office there at the
Yep.
He knows more
Opus
than we do.
Concert Cafe. Well, been there for
You've been doing this a while.
Yeah. I was going to say, Orchestra Iowa's website will lead you to the Arts
Yeah,
Iowa
you'll get
website.
there.
But yeah, you'll get there. If you Google it, you'll get there.
just been there for a few things.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a blast. Good luck, and thanks for coming in and talking to me about it today.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks, Dennis.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis.